We're talking about absolute value equations here. Okay, so we want to solve and check. So when we have a problem, number one here, absolute value of x equals to 15. So one thing we need to know about absolute value is that no matter what the number is inside the absolute value, so if it's a negative or a positive number, outside the absolute value becomes a positive number. Okay, so if it's a -2, the absolute value of -2 becomes a +2. If it's absolute value of 2, is also going to be a +2. All right, so let's see how we deal with these problems here. So we have absolute value of x equals to 15. So what does this mean? This means that x is equal to 15, okay? And then x also is going to be -15. And then x is also equal to -15. So those are the two numbers that, this equation is working for. All right? So these are the two answers. Okay? So now we're going to check it, right, very quickly. So let's check them out. So let's check it out. So that means if we have absolute value of 15, would that be equal to 15? Yes, because absolute value of 15 is 15. So 15 equals to 15. This checks out. So the statement is good. All right? So now, so that's 1. So 2, absolute value of -15, because the other answer is -15. What would that give us? So that also would give us 15, because we just said absolute value of -2 is equal to a +2. All right? So something that we need to know about when it comes to absolute values. All right? So 15 equals to 15 also, because absolute value of -15 is equal to 15. So this one also checks out. So these two answers are correct answers. All right? So this one is pretty simple, straightforward. Now let's go to the question number 2 here. Absolute value of 2x minus 5 equals to 13. So what does that mean? How do we set it up? So we have 2x minus 5 equals to 13. And then we have 2x minus 5 equals to -13. So we have those two equations that we're going to solve for. All right? So the first one here, so we know how to solve for a 2-step equation here. So that's a 2-step equation. So +5 + 5, so that we can combine the -5 with the 13. So that is 2x equals to what? 18. And then we're solving for x, of course. So because we're solving for x, we want to leave x by itself. We divide both sides by 2 and 2, and this is equal to a 9. All right? So these are steps that we're taking here. This is how in the USA, of America, that's how the steps are done when you're solving for an equation. And elsewhere, like in Africa, like in Europe, Asia is also dealt with in a different way. However, the answer's got to come to the same. Okay? It doesn't matter. Okay? All right, so this is x equal to 9. And then when we take this one here, so we have +5 and +5, both sides also. So we end up with 2x equals to what? What is -13 plus 5 is going to give us what? -8, right? So -8, and then we divide by 2 and 2 because we're solving for x, correct? So x is going to give us what? -4. So these are the potential answers. So we're going to check them out as well, okay? So if we check in, so for the first one, x equals to 9, correct? So we go inside the absolute value, so it's 2 times 9 minus 5 should be equal to 13. So we need to get 13 on this side so that we can equate them to see that the statement is a true statement, right? So 2 by 9 is what? Is 18. And 18 minus 5 is going to give us what? It's going to give us 13. And absolute value of 13 is equal to 13. So 13 equals to 13. So this is a true statement. This works out. So that means this answer is good, valid. All right? So we do the same thing for -4. So we're going to check this one as well. So this is the end. So we're going to check this one as well. So you got absolute value then of 2 times -4 minus 5 should be equals to 13. So if we go for it, 2 times -4 is going to give us what? -8. And -8, -5, both of them carry the same sign. So that will give us what? -13. And absolute value of -13 is positive 13. So 13 equals to 13. So this also checks out. So that means this is also a valid answer. All right, so this is how we deal with absolute value equations. All right, so knowing that absolute value of a negative number is a positive number, and absolute value of a positive number stays a positive number. So you keep those, in mind, and all the time, it's easy to solve for these kinds of problems. All right, thank you.